Welcome into the Benchwarmers podcast, and the Saints are 1-0 this week.
I'm
overdressed.
I was gonna say, we are the difference of this is casual sports, this is professional sports.
Well, I was already mic'd up.
Yeah.
Because I was doing some recordings.
Yeah.
So I figured, let's just rock it. But now that I'm looking at it, my bad.
No, this is awesome. This is the Benchwarmers. Things happen. We record when we have to, when we can, wearing.
Yes. I dressed up for the Saints win.
Yeah. So congratulations. The Saints will not go 0-17 this year. There are some winnable games. I said it yesterday.
Jets.
The Jets. Throw the Panthers in there.
Yeah.
Potentially,
Depends on
more
week.
so it's a divisional game.
Right. Falcons is always they're going to beat the Falcons.
The Bucks, they may surprise the Bucks.
Never.
Falcons.
They're not going to beat the Bucks.
So it's out of the 6 divisional games, they may get 1 or 2 of the 6.
They'll beat the Falcons once.
Right.
And then maybe the Panthers once.
And then
the Jets are out there.
The Bears are a mystery at times.
Yeah. That's a good Bears loss.
The Saints host the Patriots. Patriots coming off of that win against the
league.
Bills. Surprising. Mike Vrabel, good coach. Shout out to Matt, our director, who probably would prefer to have Mike Vrabel as the head coach still.
No, because the Titans got to win.
Well, the Saints also got to win.
But
So
I know, but
bad
for
teams,
Matt-
bad teams win games.
But
at
for
times.
Matt,
yeah,
we'll say the Titans got to win.
I'm happy for Matt. I want Matt to be
Bussin'.
happy.
Yeah,
But
same.
I think, in all honesty, Matt would probably prefer to have Mike Vrabel as head coach.
Yeah, maybe. But I just need more.
Matt, can you speak in my ear?
He's playing me saying embarrassing stuff.
Okay.
Par for the course. But no, there were some crazy games in the NFL Sunday. Obviously, the Saints being one of them. You go into this game and look, we've been Saints fans our whole lives. I probably said it to you during the week. I can't wait for Jackson Dart's coming out party, and he's going to go into the Hall of Fame after this game. And it was the exact opposite.
Yeah, we talked about it on the pod last week.
Yeah, he looked bad. I mean, he looked good at first.
Right.
14-3, start off. I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself,
here we go.
Here it is. I'm like getting ready to switch to the red zone, and then Rashid Shaheed gets free, and I'm like, hold up.
Yeah.
5 turnovers. Sanker, the rookie, has been great. The Saints are coming together. And what a game for Cam Jordan.
Great game for Cam Jordan.
Unbelievable. He was everywhere.
Well, the Saints were competitive in 3 out of the first 4 games.
Yeah. And the Seahawks looked
The
actually good.
Seahawks game was an anomaly.
And they look actually good.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was just, they got taken to the woodshed. But they could potentially be 3-2.
Yeah.
Now,
and I don't want to sit here and
we're not doing the
I'm not thinking about
what
they
ifs
could turn
and
this
then,
around.
Yeah, no.
We understand.
Don't turn it around.
This is the year.
Don't turn it around, Saints.
This is the year from you know where for the Saints.
Fight hard. Represent the city well.
Yes.
Don't do embarrassing things.
Just
Don't be
win a
laughing
couple
stock.
of games at home to keep the fans fired up. Because we're gonna ride this. I mean,
There's nothing wrong with
they could get stomped
3
next
and
game.
14, 4
I don't
and
care.
4 and 13.
There's a lot wrong with it, but I'm good.
Right.
It felt good to win one.
Right. And I think more importantly, bigger picture, they extended the lease with the state and the city and
Which
so
is
the
always
Saints.
big. Yep.
Always kind of confusing a little bit, just how are they leasing and whatever. They're going to be in the Superdome, which would then bring the Super Bowl back because that was kind of in question of whether the Super Bowl would come back to New Orleans if the Saints weren't going to play there. That's a big deal.
National championships coming back.
So the Superdome is an important piece. Its location. You always hear from out of towners how walkable
It's
and
great.
how
It's
much
fantastic.
It's shout out to Breer. What's his first name? Breer with the NFL Network.
Albert
Breer.
Got it.
Monday Morning Quarterback. I think he does as well. And I think he does some spots with the NFL Network. But he's New Orleans, hands down the favorite, my favorite city for the Super Bowl.
Easy.
So. Bring the Super Bowl back, and then who knows? Whenever the Super Bowl comes back, maybe the Saints have a competent GM and franchise, and they love Kellen Moore. Players, Demario Davis loves Kellen Moore.
Yeah, I was going there next.
Yeah.
It does feel like this team is starting to get it with him, and you could even see it. I listened to his Monday presser, cutting stuff for the newscast, and you could kind of sense even for him, getting that win, having that evidence of look what I'm doing the right stuff here. You just got to trust me. Could he have had a little more confidence in the way he spoke? You know, he talked about what the dome and how shocking it was to him that they could be 0-4 and it could be as loud as it got in that building. I think we're starting to see exactly what Seth told us a few weeks ago. They're building something. It's coming together, and it's beautiful to see. And, you know, it's a shame that, you know, guys like DeMario and Cam and Kamara, they probably won't be there to reap the benefits of what's coming. But to have those guys there now to create this foundational piece, how much a win fixes? It's just like so confident now.
Right.
We're feeling great.
And the Saints have made competent draft choices at times. I mean, Brian Brzee has been a good draft pick. You know, you talked about Cam Jordan and how he maybe turned back the clock a little bit. I wasn't able to watch all of the game. I watched significant portions of it. But he was making plays, pounced on that fumble.
Every play, I mean, he was... I don't know whoever was blocking him yesterday or Sunday did a terrible job. I mean, he was disrupting every dart throw. Even if he wasn't hitting them, he was there.
Yeah. And just good to see the Saints win. Just for it's better when the Saints win.
Yeah. And the other side of it for the Architects, why this could almost be a TO, but I have something else for that.
Okay.
Why do we act surprised that Dak Prescott is good? You
playing,
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, oh, wow, he's really spreading it around.
Well, it's a combination of you're a Cowboys player, you're going to get hate automatically.
Yeah, but
you're the quarterback, ratchet that up a little bit. And there is some valid criticism of how Dak has played in pressure moments in the past.
I don't disagree with that.
So that comes into it. But Dak's not a bad quarterback. There are maybe 15 teams in the league that would gladly take Dak Prescott.
Yes.
The
Jets and Giants.
He's not Patrick Mahomes.
No.
He doesn't have to be Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
He's not
There's
Josh
only
Allen.
one Patrick Mahomes.
He doesn't have to be Josh Allen. He doesn't have to be Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow probably don't want to be Joe Burrow right now because of how hurt he is with the turf toe. But he doesn't have to be that quarterback.
Right.
Dak just needs to be this version of Dak. I think is the best Dak, even though he had that MVP caliber season 2 seasons ago.
He's having one right now.
I feel like he's been the most accurate he's been on those plays where it was like, all right, yeah, Dak, he could hit you 35 yards downfield, but it's that 15-yard out that he would sometimes miss. No, he's hitting them.
And he's moved. I think, honestly, and I know it sounds dumb, but I think CD being out a couple games has been good for him. To get some trust with these other guys.
Right, it forces them.
Yeah, because Jake Ferguson's been unreal. I picked him up on fantasy. So happy about that.
Right.
Tolbert has been good, and I'm blanking on the other guy's name that showed up big yesterday, had over 100 yards.
I couldn't even watch it. Javonte Williams?
No, he had a great game too.
Yeah.
That was the next piece of that. But it was another receiver. Gosh.
I saw the highlights. I wasn't able to watch it.
There was another receiver. I can't think of his name right now, but he was great. Obviously, Pickens is still working his way in.
Yeah.
But the Cowboys' offense is stellar.
Yeah.
They beat the Jets, I don't think. Ryan Flournoy being the guy. Thank you, Matt, stats department on it.
Flournoy, Lucas Road.
Yeah, and he was fantastic in that game. Dak spreading the ball around, feeling good. Now, I understand it was the Jets, the defense looked good too.
Yeah.
Again, understands the Jets. Now, they have had trouble with mobile quarterbacks, and that's pretty much all Justin Fields has in his bag. They did a good job holding them down. The score, the Jets scored a lot of garbage time. It was not.
Oh yeah, it was 33 at one point ball game.
They dominated.
Yeah.
Cowboys and Saints both get wins. And
a happy day in the Architects. Cowboys and Saints win. That just happened.
And LSU didn't lose.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't lose.
And Tech was off.
Yeah. Everybody was. Grambling was off. Arkansas was off. Northwestern State played. They lost.
Which, I mean, where did East Texas A&M come from? Where are they located?
Well, Commerce, Texas, I think.
Okay.
I think it was Texas A&M Commerce, and then they changed it to East Texas A&M.
Okay, that makes sense.
But, hey, man, keep fighting NSU. Shout out to Blaine McCorkle for coming on and being on the Benchwarmers and hanging with us. I'm giving him grace forever.
Yeah, because he's the best because we made him wait like 20 minutes.
So
neither here nor there.
That was, I'm sure, ETBU and Centenary played as well, but I don't have those results off the top of my head.
Yeah, that happens. Matt, get to us on that. I think ETBU won.
But the major D1 FBS schools, not a lot of them played. None.
Now we're going to do some Friday Football Fever talk, but that's going to be my TO.
Yeah.
In case
Texas, man.
Arch Manning.
Not great. Yeah. So remember that thing I was talking about, like the whole hell's when the high. That's obviously not happening.
Not. There is 0% chance Arch Manning comes out of the draft.
He has to.
Unless like all of a sudden the switch flips, and it's the greatest comeback story you've ever seen in your life.
And Patrick Mahomes just made a crazy throw. So if he starts making throws like Patrick Mahomes, good throws, then maybe. Yeah. But I don't foresee that happening this season. Alex, God bless you.
Thank you.
Travis Kelce with the catch. We just for those that know. Yeah. But yes, Arch Manning probably not going to win the Heisman this year.
And neither
Texas
is probably not Nussmeier. And I did want to talk about that a little bit. So Ryan Kelly today, Monday, when we're recording this, kind of, he was asked about Nuss and about Manning and how maybe a lot of these guys that were so heavily touted have not done very well, blah, blah, blah. And Kelly said, hey, we've played 5 games, which I know to me he says, hey, I've played half my season. But he was under the mind of the story's not over yet. Let it play out. Now, I do understand maybe Nuss was hurt and maybe that this week off really helped him. But they host South Carolina. This is about a must-win as you're going to get for the Tigers, correct? And I think it's a must-dominate.
LSU, to make the playoffs, it has to happen. Like, Brian Kelly can't miss the playoffs.
They have to dominate.
And it's going to be a situation where it's too much money for the buyout. So I think unless LSU loses out, Kelly wouldn't get fired.
Right.
But this is a very important game if you want to keep your playoff hopes alive and not be that tweener 14, 15, 16 ranked team.
Yeah, like the loss to Ole Miss, you can survive that.
Yeah.
That's so survivable.
And it was a game that they could have won.
Yeah, but you can't lose another one.
No.
You can't lose one of these.
No.
Like, you have to beat Vanderbilt and you have to beat South Carolina.
Right.
Not that those are bad teams by any means, but they're
Alabama's still out there.
Yeah, and Alabama looks a lot better.
Arkansas always crazy. Texas A&M game. So I mean, the SEC is not going to lit up regardless.
The SEC is not as top-heavy as it usually is in the sense of there's not that one team. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of them in the mix that are going to give you a problem every night. So, I don't know. I think they bounce back. They got to, right? I mean, a week off, you're feeling better. Maybe Nuss is a little healther. Get the offense sorted a bit.
Yeah, the offense.
Can they run the ball?
Matt House was in the area watching Evangel play against Huntington, and,
You mean Joe Sloan?
Joe Sloan, I said Matt House. Joe Sloan, thank you for the correction. Joe Sloan watching Pop Houston play.
Travis
hopefully something gets cooking there in Baton Rouge to be consistent with that offense, because that's been the Achilles heel for LSU this season. The defense had their falters against Ole Miss, but I mean they've been put in a position to not succeed all game.
Lane Kiffin's done
and then when
that,
they had to step up, they couldn't. But the Tigers will be fine. At this point, if I can separate journalism to fan level Daniel right now, just make the playoffs.
Yep.
Make the playoffs. I'm not going to be like, you got to win the national. Yes, LSU should win the national title, blah, 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 blah. In the sense of, like, that should be your expectation. Just make the playoffs.
It could be way worse.
Yeah.
You could be a former.
And that's how I'm looking at it. You got to, like, yes, it ain't going to be national titles and top 4 every year, but be competitive, be consistent.
That's not even where I was going.
Where were you going?
You could be a former KTBS meteorologist and Penn State alum.
Oh, I wasn't gonna bring it up. I need to text Caroline, but it's like how do you text somebody that's in mourning?
Yeah.
Because that's bad. That stinks.
I didn't even have it on. Like, I get the 4 box on YouTube TV. I didn't even have it on. So I'm like, and then Caroline texted me. It was like, this is terrible. And I was like, I know what that means. And you thought maybe they're going to come back. And
I'm going to text Caroline after this.
Just let her, yeah, she just completed her fantasy hockey draft. I don't know if I should be airing out all our business, but I did help her a little bit. And that takes me to my next point.
Yeah.
We're here. It's officially week 1 of the NHL season. Sabres play the day after this episode releases at home opener, season opener, New York Rangers.
How you feeling?
Terrible. So many people.
You look nervous.
I am. A lot of injuries going into it, and I understand. I get the same flack from people every year. Why do you worry so much about early season hockey? It doesn't matter. They play so many games. Yes, but in the past, The early season is what's doomed the Sabres because
Yeah.
they've been so poor out of the gates that it's an insurmountable hole that they're out of.
Yeah.
They can't fight their way out. So 0-2 last year to start off. They played overseas in, like, you know how the NFL does that crap.
Yeah.
It was like all-time vibes could not be worse situation to start the season. Can we get a 1-1? You know what I mean? Just like
just be above.
I'm not ready.
Not be 0%
Correct.
win percentage.
Owen Power's hurt. That's horrible. Michael Kesselring's hurt. We just got him from the J.J. Paterka trade. Terrible. Goaltender UPL's hurt. I don't know why this keeps happening. I'm just trying to be positive. It's not happening. I'm nervous. I hate it. Sports is the worst. Why do we do this to ourselves? With all that being said, they're going to make the playoffs.
Well, I wish you well, because I'm going to change it and focus on me now. My obscure fandom of the New York Yankees, not looking good, but our next recording, the Yankees will more than likely have been eliminated by the Toronto Blue Jays, which I'm not upset entirely, because at least they beat the Red Sox to advance. Aaron Boone has outmanaged his own self and, like, cost the Yankees games, but, like, when your pitching staff is giving up double-digit runs on the reg, I mean, it's
They beat the Red Sox. That
was
cool.
So it's like the season. Yes, Yankees, you want to win the World Series. Hadn't been to the World Series since 2009. Maybe some things change. But by this time next week, I think the Yankees will have been eliminated from the playoffs. But, like, I'll be all right. I'll live.
Yeah.
If I was from New York, I'd probably feel a lot differently.
And by this time next week, the Sabres will be 2-0. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll be totally fine.
Happy vibes.
Totally fine. Let's get to our interview. I had to dip out of this one, but it was all Daniel.
Yep.
Christopher Wilson of the North Webster Knights, and I know you had a good time.
Great time. Coach Wilson, awesome dude, and take a listen. Our interview guest this week is North Webster head coach Christopher Wilson. Sorry about that. Coach Wilson, appreciate you taking the time to chat with me on the Benchwarmers here. A little different what we do here on the Benchwarmers, getting to know you as a coach personally a little bit more about what got you into coaching. So I guess first question right off the bat, why did you want to be a high school football head coach?
High school football was the only thing I ever wanted to do. I remember being in the third grade, and you go through and you have all these conversations with your elementary teacher, and they talk about what you want to do. And I told them I wanted to be a football coach. So it's always been what I love to do. I was the kid that was drawing the playbooks on the construction paper and taking those plays outside. And when we played out on the yard for recess, and drawing the plays up and being that guy. So it's always been what I wanted to do. I never wanted to be a principal. I still don't want to be a principal. I don't want to be a doctor, a lawyer. I always wanted to be a high school football coach. So I'm living the dream, so to speak.
And you get the job at North Webster, the 2025 season so far. How has it gone, just in your opinion, for these Knights at North Webster?
Man, we're overachieving. Last year we went 3-8. We had 5 weeks through the season. We've already matched our win total from last year. So, with the amount of youngsters that we have on the team, man, I feel like we're doing a really good job. The guys are taking to what we're trying to build, and they're overachieving. We didn't expect this group to be good until their junior year, but these guys, behind a really good defensive unit, we're doing enough to get wins early in the year. So I think we're in good shape. Even after a tough loss last week against a really, really good Garrison team out of East Texas, I think we're in really good shape going in the district.
And these are the games that really will kind of show, who you are in terms of your competition level and district play like that. What kind of confidence does this team have now? As you said, already matched the win total from a season ago, overachieving in your opinion. How much have these players kind of enjoyed this season from your vantage point?
Well, I think the overall vibe in the locker room is different this year. These kids enjoy being around each other. We're building more camaraderie, and it's more of a family. These kids enjoy being there, and they're holding each other accountable when things get tough. So the overall vibe of the locker room has changed for the better, and I think that North Webster is going to be in a better position years from now because of the work that these guys are doing this year. So, looking forward to the rest of the year. The guys are motivated. When we got out there today, they were flying around. and they're ready to attack the week. They've already put last week behind them, and they're ready to go to work.
And kind of getting a little bit more into your resume, your origin story, your second year here at North Webster. You come from North DeSoto, but in terms of your resume, where'd you start out and how did you end up in Spring Hill, Louisiana?
This is year 17, man. So I started in 2009 after graduating from Southern Baton Rouge. I spent 6 years at Green Oaks under 5 head coaches. Um, I did 2 bookend years at BTW with the last year Fair Park in between. Fair Park was my first offensive coordinator position under Mike Green, that's now at Loyola. After leaving BTW the second time, I did 2 years in Mansfield as the head baseball coach and offensive line coach. Then I got my first head coaching job at Plain Dealing. Spent 2 years there. Then the North DeSoto job came up. We had 2 really good years there, and then North Webster happened. And I'm a believer that God kind of puts things in your path when you're supposed to have them. Um, and I didn't know anybody up here in Spring Hill. I hadn't ever. I've never coached a game up here. And so it was kind of one of those things where somebody you do right by people is people speak highly of you in rooms that you're not even in. And one of my coaching friends knew my principal, and he sent him my name, and the principal did his due diligence, and they ended up making contact with me. And I took a trip down here one day after school in Stonewall, while I was in Stonewall, and made the hour-and-a-half ride and met with the principal and two of the senior coaches on staff, and we took a liking to each other. Um, and they encouraged me to apply. We went through the process. We kind of locked it up, and it's been all uphill ever since. I enjoy it. I enjoy this community, and I really enjoy these kids. Um, so much so that my daughter is in the junior high up here. So, we're making it a family affair.
That's awesome. And making the drive, I see in the car right now, safety first as always, eyes on the road. So it's a good job there. But the commute from where you live to Spring Hill, how challenging is that for you, as like knowing that you got a big time out of your day just in the car driving?
It is what it is. I got a lot of friends in Texas, and they commute. They make it an hour plus drive every day. You go where the opportunity is. Um, and I wanted to be a head coach, and throughout my tenure, I applied for a bunch of jobs in Caddo and could never really lock one down. And so my opportunities to advance in my career have come outside of home. So since it's come outside of home, you got to go where you want it, right? And here in Bossier Parish at Plain Dealing, I was wanted. I'm gonna pull over so I can be safer. Um, in Bossier, I was wanted at Plain Dealing, and that was a great opportunity for me to cut my teeth and learn how to be a head coach and manage kids on a day-to-day basis. And then DeSoto called back to go and work for the great Coach Dunn. And then when this came open, this is an opportunity. Well, I wanted to be a head coach. I made that clear to Coach Dunn right off the jump that I wanted to be here for a good time, not a long time. Um, and when this opportunity in North Webster came up, I took it. And I jumped on it because there was an opportunity to be the athletic director. There was the opportunity to be more than an administrator role and really take to this community and provide this community with something that I felt, and they felt that they lacked. They wanted a strong presence on the campus that loved the kids, um, and was willing to serve everybody in the building, and not just the football program. And I think that's what I do. I do a good job of on a day-to-day basis.
And you've talked about your growth as a head coach. We're all growing in whatever profession that we are in. But for you, how do you feel you've grown as a head coach in your time as an assistant and then now in your second year at North Webster? What kind of lessons have you learned and overall kind of shaped your philosophy as a head coach?
Well, I think what I've had to do a better job with, especially this second tenure, as being a head coach, is not taking myself so serious. I think as a detriment last year, I put too much pressure on myself to come in and be successful right off the bat, especially coming from those two North DeSoto years where we were hyper successful really really quick. They were 6-6 the year before I got there, and then the next year we were in a state championship game, and not necessarily being vocal about it, but that type of success can go to your head. And so when you got over to North Webster, I wanted to make that. I wanted to see that jump immediately, and I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I put a lot of pressure on the boys, to be that successful. And we just weren't ready for that, so I had to take a step back, and put some things into perspective for myself first, and that carried over to the kids. Because again, when the kids realized that I wasn't just super hostile. Well, I wouldn't say hostile, but overly serious and got back to being myself and enjoying the kids and letting the kids know who I am and who I am as a person and not just the football coach. Things started to change, and the guys started opening up a little bit more, and we started building those relationships that have been helping us now. Now that we're going into year two.
And getting back into kind of how you got to where you are, a graduate of C.E. Byrd High School, established 1925 here in Shreveport. What did that school do for you and kind of shape you who you are today?
Opportunity. Being in a diverse community like Bird, um, being the magnet school kid that was coming from across town, there were no expectations. You had to come in, and if you wanted a place at the table, you had to create your place at the table. And I was able to, once the football stuff stopped and I got hurt in high school, and once I realized I wasn't playing anymore, what did I want my high school experience to look like? Um, and that's when I got big into student government. And to my knowledge, I'm the first and only Black Key Club president in Bird's history. Um, those are the things that I wanted to do. I was in the drama club. I did student council. I did the technology club. I did Spanish. I did everything. Anything that I could get my hands on, anything that they were willing to allow me to be involved in, I was involved in. And I think that carries over to the versatility I have today, where if it revolves around sports, I want to be a part of it. Doing the announcing, doing the sports writing, doing all of those things, the free agent pool and connecting with other coaches. And currently I'm serving on the Louisiana Football Coaches Association as the Class 3A representative. Getting into the political part of it, the business part of high school football, because that's where I feel that the change is going to be made, and especially giving coaches up in North Louisiana a voice, because it's predominantly South dominated. And so to have a place at the table where my opinions and the opinions of my constituents up here are being listened to, and we can just take a different element down south, and try to make some changes that are kind of cater more to North Louisiana, are the things that I'm interested in. So it really gave me the opportunity in high school as a 15-year-old to understand that in order to play the game, you got to be in the game. And Bird gave me the opportunity to flex, not necessarily, but spread my wings, and get involved in something other than just playing football and just being known as the jock.
And getting a little bit more into, maybe changes and stuff you want to see here in North Louisiana, talking with other coaches, maybe what's at the top of your mind of something that you want to see done or improved upon, or something that just kind of sticks out to you?
Well, I think that's representation. People think that the brand of football in North Louisiana isn't as good. And I don't think that's the case, but it comes with winning. It comes with dominating on the state level and state championships, and really doing a better job of promoting our kids and getting our kids in these rooms, kind of like Pop Houston has done at Evangel. That in order for everybody in the state to know his name, he had to put himself in a position where people knew his name. And getting our kids to these camps and getting the recognition they deserve. And that was a big thing with us when we kind of started the 7-on-7 scene here in Shreveport, when we started the showboats, that turned into the bootleggers, that we wanted to promote our kids on the state level. And that was important for us because North Louisiana was getting left behind when it came to recruiting. And when we started that organization, Mark Miller, myself, and Ben Palmer, um, that was the goal. We wanted to get North Louisiana on the map when it came to recruiting, and it just not coming for the 5-star kid. LSU is going to come and get every 5-star kid in the state. But what about those French guys, those 2-star guys? Why doesn't Southeastern recruit Shreveport? Why doesn't McNeese recruit Shreveport? We want those schools that every school in the state ought to want to come to Shreveport and get these guys because we got high quality athletes up here too. But if we don't promote them, they won't get the recognition they deserve.
And yeah, it's not always about the high D1, if you will. It's about, filling rosters on these other teams and giving these kids these opportunities at an FCS and low
Right.
FBS, if you will. What kind of challenges do these kids face? Because it's a different time from, 2003, 2008 when I graduated high school to it's 2025. There's so much social media. How many challenges do these kids face just to not only get recognized, but kind of stay sane in this atmosphere that we're all in?
Well, I think that you have to be realistic. You got to be realistic and you have to surround yourself with people who are going to tell you the truth. I was talking to two boys on the way into the locker room today, and a couple of them stay after and they get a little extra work in. And I was talking to them, and we were talking about their goals, and I said, well, you want to play college football, but how much football did you watch this weekend? Well, I didn't. Well, you don't want to play college football. Um, our kids' football IQ is low because they don't really love it. And the guys that love it, the guys that are consuming it, have better IQs and they put themselves in better positions. And we just have to be realistic. Proximity matters. We don't have a FCS school with an hour that wants to recruit. Tech and Grambling don't have to come to Shreveport. They can just stop in Ruston, or they can go to Monroe. They don't have much of a incentive to come to Shreveport because a lot of the kids that are recruited in this area frown upon Tech. They frown upon Grambling because it's not big time. And we have to change that mindset too. That an opportunity is an opportunity. And I think it just comes with education. It comes with us as coaches being honest with these kids and telling them the truth that hey, you're not a college football player, or you're not a Division I football player. You're not a FCS guy. You're not a Power Four guy. You might be D3, you might be D2, and that's okay, right? It's okay because if you're good enough to play college football, that's better than 95% of the kids that you're going to play against. So I think it's about exposure and education and being honest with these kids and helping them understand what their ceiling is. Um, and letting them know that the main goal is to get the education, and if you can use your athletic ability to put you in a position to get that college degree, that's the ultimate goal. So, I think giving them the tools that they need in order to navigate this, not taking social media as fact, it is not a real thing, um, and just doing the best you can to promote yourself, and hoping that good things happen.
And you took me right to my next question about the value of a college education, where we see NIL. Players want to be pros. You want kids to follow their dreams, but how important is it for them to get their foot in the door and even getting a taste of college campus life from an academic standpoint, having to balance with athletics as well, but even to get their foot in the door at a D3, a D2, a D1?
Going to college changed my life. It opens your eyes to different perspectives, different cultures, people from different areas. You live in Shreveport, all you know is Shreveport. And my first time going to Baton Rouge was a senior for our playoff game when we played Catholic in 2002. And then deciding last minute to go to Southern in Baton Rouge. That was my first time seeing Southern's campus. Was the day I moved in. Um, and it was the best decision I ever blindly made, right? And I tell the kids all the time that if you go to college, you're going to meet people that have the same goals as you. And a lot of times that these kids go to college, they're in the building with the people they graduate with. And, we have about 140 seniors here at North Webster. 10 of them will go to college, go to a 4 year. A lot of our kids are trade driven. Um, and that's okay. But for people who want to go to college, you're getting yourself in a position to open yourself up to new cultures, expand your horizons. And I tell them all the time, you can always come home. Spring Hill ain't going nowhere. Spring Hill will always be here. But you go to that college campus and you meet people that have the same mindset as you. They want more for themselves. They want more for their family, and you never know where that'll take you. But you won't know what life can take you if you never leave home. We get comfortable. A lot of our kids have younger siblings that they have to take care of, and they're have parents that they have to take care of, and all of these different factors that I didn't necessarily have to deal with. Um, and I think it just opens them up to new things and opens them up to new horizons, new goals. What you have, what you think you want to do as an 18-year-old might change in after 2 years of college. Just getting away and seeing things. So I think it's imperative. I think every kid should experience that at least a year. And you never will know what happens once you get out there.
And you're a man with your hat in many different avenues, hands in many different pots. Your time at Southern University, what did that teach you about life and kind of shape you to where you are? I know you learned your lessons at Byrd. You talked about that as well. But your time at Baton Rouge at Southern University, how impactful was that?
I think it's the same thing. I did student government 5 out of the 6 years I was down there. I was senior class president. I was men's federation president. You learn people, right? You learn people. You learn how to talk to people. You learn how to communicate. And I think the biggest lesson that anybody from Southern University will tell you, you learn how to handle your business. You learn how to follow up. You learn how to take ownership of your own life, take ownership of your own responsibilities and the things that you are required to do. Um, because they didn't make it easy for you. They didn't make it. It was very rarely a fluid transition of getting things done. And it taught you how to knuckle down and not procrastinate and do what you needed to do in order to be successful. Um, and that carries over to how I conduct myself here in the building in North Webster, as the athletic director, following behind coaches and following behind kids and pulling grades and calling parents and dealing with all those things that a high school coach has to deal with, because you're dealing with 70 kids on the football program and then another 100 kids in the other sports, and everybody requires something different. Your coaches require something different. Administration requires something different. Your coworkers on campus require something different, and you want to be all of those things to everybody. And so college, yeah, as a young man, taught me how to um, spread yourself and do what you needed to do, but make sure that you're keeping yourself at the forefront of what you got going on, because self-preservation is key. Um, and even with getting up every morning and making that hour-long commute to work and the hour-long commute home, I still got to be a good father, still got to be a good husband, still got to be a good son and a brother and a friend to everybody else that depends on me. Um, and I can't let the things that I have going on kind of take the back seat. I got to take care of myself first. But I want to be good to everybody. And college definitely taught me that.
And I feel like I've been asking a bunch of like introspective questions, so we'll kind of switch it up to some fun stuff here in a little bit. But
Hmm.
keeping with the Southern vibe, being a Southern Jaguar in Grambling territory, is that fun for you? How do you like that?
My father's a Gremlin grad. And the Wilson family is a bunch of siblings, and myself and one of my father's sisters were the only two to go to Southern. I cut everybody off on Thanksgiving week. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to talk to them. I don't have anything for them until Saturday night after the game, and it's fun, man. It's family. Any other week of the year, you love them to death, and you encourage kids to go to Grambling. You encourage kids. I love going on Grambling's campus. I love the history behind that place and everything that it stands for, because they're, Grambling and Southern are brother and sister. Um, but it's tradition. It kind of reminds me of BTW and Green Oaks when on Soul Bowl week, and I was, blessed to coach in 8 Soul Bowls, and you understood that you love them any other time but that Friday night or now the Saturday afternoon. And it's the same with Grambling and Southern. You love that place. You love what it stands for, except that week of Thanksgiving. And I don't have anything for them. Any other week, I'm rooting for them, except that week.
Yeah, I like to describe it as a sports hate. It's
Hmm.
you leave it where it is. It's sports, and then after it's over, we can all have fun and go about our lives.
Right.
But I'm sure Bayou Classic is an interesting time for you and a fun time as well. Um,
Absolutely.
we have these questions we call "What are we doing?" questions. They
Okay.
involve music, they involve food, and they involve television or what we're watching or streaming. We'll start off with our music question. On these commutes or in the office, whatever, what are we listening to? What do you have on the playlist?
I'm an '80s pop guy. I'm a '80s pop nerd. Anything '80s, new wave. I grew up on Michael Jackson and all things Michael Jackson, Jackson 5, the Jacksons, Michael, Marlon, Reby, Jermaine, Michael Jackson, Prince, um, even, I like Hall and Oates. Um, Duran Duran, all of that stuff. Like if you go on XM radio and you do the '80s pop, I pretty much know everything that comes across that station. So, um, I don't listen to anything current. To me, it doesn't lack any substance. It doesn't make me feel. I like my music to make me feel something. Um, and that takes me back to a simpler time when I was the nerdy kid that sat up in the room and watched a lot of pop-up video. So that's where I got my music groove from, watching a lot of pop-up video and MTV in my room when I was a kid.
Well, I'm there with you on the MJ and the Prince. I actually have a Purple Rain vinyl that I actually need to listen to. I bought it at Target, and it's just sitting there, and it needs to get some spins instead of collecting dust.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you on that. What are we eating in terms of a cheat meal or something that's like, all right, I can eat this, no health repercussions. This is my go-to meal that I want to eat when I'm feeling it, feeling a groove, and want to eat that.
Anything Mexican related, anything taco. I'm a taco guy, taco connoisseur, if you will. Saturday I went to Ramirez and I had their Ramirez skillet, chicken, steak, onions, peppers, chorizo, smothered in
Hmm.
cheese on the fajita skillet. You
Hmm.
can't go wrong with that. Anytime I got the itch, that's where I'm going for. Or Mickey O'Connor, or El Eden on Shreveport Barksdale, their birria pizza, always good. I'll I'll spend that $17 on that anytime. Might do that tomorrow.
I like
Might do
it.
that tomorrow. That might be on my list of things to do.
Now, how adventurous are we getting on the ingredients? Are we getting some lengua? Are we getting some barbacoa? Like,
Nah,
no?
no, Mitchell O'Connor. I love that barbacoa.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not going. I did cabeza one time. Not a fan. Not going lengua. I've tried them all,
Yeah.
but definitely not my go-to.
Yeah. Doesn't hurt to try it. You'll know it if you like it, and if
Yeah.
you do like it, like, all right, you'll be surprised. Last one
Yep.
for you. What are we watching in terms of? I know it can't always be football, but if it is football, it is what it is. But what are we watching as a comfort, as a takeaway, and escape of something that you really enjoy watching?
Not a big TV guy, because if you miss an episode, you kind of get behind and I throw it away. But what I do, I Love Island. I watch every single episode of Love Island with my wife. Every single one. I love the dating shows. Um, when watched Temptation Island as a kid, and when Temptation Island came back on USA, I was like one of their number one fans on Twitter. So much so that they sent me a care package with the message in the bottle tumbler type deal.
That's awesome.
I love the mess of it. Yeah, so any of those dating shows that come on Netflix, especially, like we literally watched all 30 weeks of Love Island this summer, and I enjoyed them thoroughly. I enjoy those. So those type of mind numbing things, I'm with. Especially the mess of relationships, because it's always somebody else's problem and it's not mine. So
Exactly.
so yeah.
You could look at somebody else's mess and be like, man, look at those, look at that drama that I don't have to be
Yeah.
involved with. Yeah. No, I totally get that. So
Better he than me.
next time we have you on, we'll have to have Alex talk to you about the Love Island because he also watches that with his wife. He's also a 30-Day Fiance watcher as well. I don't know if you've stepped into that realm of the reality TV love series and things like that, but yeah, y'all can have a good conversation about the life
Yeah.
and of the people of Love Island.
Because your wives don't let you miss it. So even if you're not in the mood, even if you're not in the mood, they're gonna make sure you watch it. So,
Yeah.
but once I started keeping up with it and I got into it, and a lot of my female friends have the commentary on TikTok, and I like to watch their opinions, and I'm always interested on how If people can watch the same thing, people can read the same thing, and they can interpret it in different ways, and that's always interesting to the human dynamic.
Yeah.
On how do specific things make you feel, right? And I think that's why I kind of gravitate towards those things, because a lot of those experiences, things that we've all gone through, and we just handle them and interpret them in different ways. So it's interesting to me.
Well, Coach, we will definitely have you back on. Great guest, great interview. Christopher Wilson, head coach at North Webster, and a Bird grad, a Southern grad. And if you're a Grambling fan during Bayou Classic week, do not bother him.
Don't call
he will
me.
not have nice things to
Don't
say.
call me.
All right. So appreciate Coach Wilson for taking the time to chat with us, chat with me. Supposed to be us. Next time we have Coach Wilson on, maybe you guys can talk about Love Island.
Yeah.
He's an
I
avid
got
watcher with his wife.
A lot of takes to get off my chest on Love Island. Although I would say, Kim, my wife's been out of the game lately.
Okay.
And if she's been watching, honestly, this could be a TO too. Downton Abbey. This show sucks.
All right, don't go there.
Oh my gosh, it is the most boring. I'm not going to do the accent because I feel like that's mean, but it's the same. I mean,
is it a slow burn? Is it a subtle drama?
Apparently there's 30 freaking seasons of this show because it never ends. She's watching it constantly.
Well,
she wakes me up the day because the dog died in the show. She's crying. It's just awful.
Two reasons why you shouldn't insult Downton Abbey. It aired on PBS. Downton.
I said Downton. Downton?
Downton. I think it's Downton. I'm getting it wrong.
See, that's making me mad too.
But they won Emmys. It was a good show.
Big
and then Melody Brumble loved Downton Abbey.
And I love her, but I can't.
And Melody is a gem.
Yeah.
And I think you should give it a little bit more grace.
I miss Love
But
Island.
look,
that's how bad.
It's not. Shows aren't for everybody, so
That's
it's okay to not like something that everybody else likes, and it's all right.
But I miss Love Island. Like I'm like, you love Is Blind in there?
So you love Love Island?
I don't love it at all. That's the problem.
But
Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey.
The best part about this is that Kim is never going to listen to this, so I can just get this out because I don't say it to her.
Yeah.
You know.
She doesn't put this on when she's like washing dishes or cooking. Or
Oh, it's on all the time. It's been on for 2 months. It
I'm
never
talking about
goes
the
off.
pod. She don't listen to the
Oh,
Benchwarmers?
absolutely not. She
Okay.
don't listen. Fine. She watches the Friday football show. That's about as far as we get, which is great.
Yeah.
And that brings us to our TO. You go first.
Okay. So my TO, self-inflicted, coming back from Loyola and Minden. Awesome game Friday night. For those that watched the digital-only Friday Football Fever, thank you for being avid viewers of our wonderful product, Southern Classic Chicken Friday Football Fever, with Alex Anderson and several others assisting. I come back with my gear, and I place it in our camera room, and that includes my laptop, my camera, and gear bag.
Yep.
So I put the camera away, I put the gear bag away, and then in the process of like moving and getting other things set away, also our TVU pack, I leave the laptop apparently on the kind of counter above a certain camera locker. This is my working theory of what happened. Madeline DuPont, photographer, editor, all around
Like
great
MVP,
person,
basically, yeah.
just helps us in several aspects of the station. She sees it, thinks it's her laptop, puts it in her locker, closes it away. I go back in there, not even thinking. I was like, all right, make sure gear check. Like, okay, do I have everything put away? Don't see the laptop. In my brain, I'm thinking, oh my God, it's put away. Awesome. Get sent home, come back Saturday, have to go shoot the fire at the Old Shreveport Country Club.
Right.
Think I need to send something from the field. I look down, where's the laptop missing?
Dun, dun,
Starts
dun.
losing my mind because I got a hair trigger. When something's missing in gear that I need to do my job, I'm Mount Vesuvius. I'm blowing up.
I know.
I say all that to say Madeline put it in her locker
Because
she
her laptop is missing.
Right, her laptop is missing.
I know where it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But ticked off at myself because for like 36 hours from like Saturday into like partly Sunday evening, I was like, where's this laptop? Oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to do my job. Try to text to Madeline. I'm like, I mean, I wasn't thinking about it constantly. I texted everybody. I called Randy. I called Steven. I called Alex. I sent an email to the station like, hey, folks, exclamation point, high importance. Followed that up once I found it with a thank you for your attention to this matter. Just to try to be funny. And yeah, so like for like every 15 to 20 minutes while I was like conscious, I would like, where's that damn laptop? Where's that laptop?
Yep.
So that was 36 hours of stress that I didn't need to have because I should have texted Madeline probably Saturday or Friday or just like, hey, send me the laptop. I didn't know it was missing until Saturday, so I couldn't text her Friday. And it was like 1 in the morning and she needs sleep too. So
Right. Okay. I'm sorry that happened.
That's okay.
But it does happen. I've done something very similar before. Okay, so I got a complicated TO. My story went on way too long last week, so we're not going to do that this time.
Okay.
Well, it began with the Fortnite account being stolen, right? That was kind of the first thing. It's back. Then I sustained some type of injury, not sure what it was. Thought I had appendicitis. Was freaking out all week. I didn't, obviously. I'm still here. We're good. And then our AC stopped working. We just got the AC completely replaced less than, 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Easy fix. Shout out. Fine folks at AirServe. They came out, took care of it. 3 Minute Smile sponsors, great people. They fixed it. We're good. But really, this is not a TO that I'm ticked off. This is a timeout.
Okay.
To show my appreciation to all the fine people that work on Southern Classic Chicken Friday Football Fever. Very quickly, if you are not caught up with what happened, there was a crash on Kings Highway, a major accident, knocked down a power line, blew a transformer, power was out of the station. Power came back on about 9:30. Our systems took a lot longer than that to come back. So long story short, we could not begin our show until 1 a.m. So it was on KTBS. It was actually kind of fun in that regard it was just so weird, and we had to move the weather desk in a weird spot because none of the monitors were working and whatever. Point being is, it was such a huge effort on a Friday night for all these people, whether it be our engineering folks, Randy and Steven coming in, our news director, Stephanie coming in. I mean, even our station manager, George, came back up here.
Yeah.
All really working toward the same goal to get us on air any way possible. Courtney and the folks in Master Control, I mean, they were working their butts off to get that thing going. Matt and Logan and Bree and the technical directors, the editors, Savannah and Madeline, and all the photographers that went out. And we had all this show. I mean, we didn't want to just not do it.
Yeah.
And so
because it's
Yeah, so we did it, and we waited till 1 in the morning, and it's on the website. If you missed it, it's there. It was such a weird night. Never had a night like that before.
Yeah.
Been doing this for almost 15 years. Never had anything like that happen. And it's just an appreciation for everyone that sacrificed much more of their Friday night than they intended.
It's truly a station-wide effort, even from the articles that you see online, the video getting attached, scores getting updated, all of that. It's like 25, 30 people between promotions and photographers, anchors, reporters, technical crews, making sure the cameras, angles, lightings. It is a full station effort, and we can't thank everybody enough for helping pull that show off, and just on a weekly basis, getting Southern Classic Chicken Friday Football Fever on air.
Well, we come in here, right, and we come sit down here, and everything's on, and it works. But we're locally owned.
Yeah.
It's not like we got a team of folks that come in that are like, we have like a squad that comes in and fix problems. I mean, no, it's people that work in this building every day that have to figure out how to fix it. And it was really incredible that we were able to get everything back online. I mean, what they had to deal with in Master Control, way beyond my pay grade. They attempted to explain to me what was going on. I was like, you know what? It's going to take longer for me to understand this.
Brother, walking into Master Control and seeing
everything
like all the
beeping
monitors and servers.
It was crazy. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, we got like the thing.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that. It kind of reminded me of that, where just nothing works. So shout out to everybody to make it happen. We didn't want to miss an episode, and we didn't, and it was great. And, a little Saturday morning football fever, nothing wrong with that. So we're going to fingers crossed that we go on at 10:30 this week, because that would be great.
I think this is real wood.
Yeah, it seems like wood. So quick sock check. I mean, I'm going Goku Black.
I got nothing. I
Goku
got
Black action.
Regular
looking good.
Nike ankle socks.
Okay. I had a Dragon Ball shirt I was going to wear today, and then things got all out of whack.
I'm trying to think. I want some Cowboy Bebop socks.
Yep.
I need another set of like My Hero socks. I got All Might. I need some very obscure franchise, not really obscure, Fate socks. I need to step my game up. Several other series that I need to get, because I'm lacking on the sock game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm to the point where I'm repeating, but actually, I got some new ones next week.
Funny enough, the prior 2 days I was wearing Goku socks.
Yep.
So the one day that I need to show them off, I don't.
That happens. Well, thanks to everybody for hanging out with us. Thanks to Coach Wilson for being our guest this week. We will be back next week for the Benchwarmers episode.
This is 27.
So
we'll be back to 28.
27. Wow, still not canceled. Gotta love it. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week.